Hey guys, my name is Serena, and today I'm going to share a very important message with you. This is the message of the gospel and the story of God's love for all of us, and it's also the story of how the gospel has impacted my life. It's a very personal story, but it's one I want to share with you because I hope that it helps you see God's love in your own life, and I hope it helps you relate to me and maybe teaches you something you didn't know before. I was a Christian. I had Jesus in my heart. I knew the story of the gospel, but it was just another story. It didn't really make a difference. And then I got a little bit older and I heard the story more, and I heard about other people sharing their experiences, and I realized that mine was kind of different. Where they were sharing stories of heartache and of sin and of all of these people who hurt them, I was sharing stories of grace and goodness and of a God who forgave even though I didn't deserve it. And over time, I realized that the story I had to share was important and it was powerful and it could change the world. And so I set out like the naive girl I was, ready to tell the world about God's love. When I got to college, I was so ready to share my story and to talk to others who I thought would maybe have the same experience as me or a different experience but would still be ready to hear this good news. I was completely wrong. So many of the people I knew in college were struggling with their faith, were wondering why God would let bad things happen. And as I joined them in this environment where we saw so much poverty and so much sin and so many trials and issues, I wondered too, how could God let this happen? How could God let so much hurt and so much brokenness exist? If someone loves someone else, they wouldn't let that person go through it. I didn't understand. I didn't understand why I had it so good. I didn't understand why I had been brought up in a family that loved me, that cared for me, and a family that gave me everything. And someone else living right in the same room as me could have nothing. It was horrible. And I, for a while, decided I didn't care anymore. I decided God wasn't real. I decided his love didn't exist. I decided the gospel was a lie. I didn't believe that someone who loved me that much could allow all of this to happen. It wasn't until I came home the summer before my senior year of college and had a fight with my mom that I changed my mind. And it was by the goodness of the Lord that I had this fight that led me to this change. You know, I always thought that there would be some big moment that would turn my life around. And there was, but it was such a small moment at the same time. I remember I was standing in my kitchen and I was talking to my mom, who I love so much and who's been praying for me since the day I was born and before that. And I said something like, I refuse to believe in a God who doesn't care about people. And she said, what are you talking about? And I said, haven't you seen? Haven't you seen people die? Haven't you seen people deal with sickness? Haven't you seen all the pain that goes on? How can you ignore it? And she said, don't you understand? His heart weeps for them. And that changed my mindset because I thought about Jesus dying on the cross when he said, I forgive you, to the sinner who was next to him. And when the earth split when he died. And I really think that God weeps every time we sin, every time something happens that separates us, every time that we go through pain. I think he goes through the same thing with us.